Good morning, everybody. We're going to call to order this Thursday, November the 15th, 2012 board meeting of the Tennessee Alarm Systems Contractors Board. Ms. Fess, would you please call the roll?
Keith Morgan.
Here.
Vivian Hickson.
Here.
Karen Jones.
Here.
Mackenzie Roberts.
Here.
Stephen Tucker.
Here.
Madam Chair, you have a quorum.
Thank you. Has the board had an opportunity to review the agenda for today? And if so, a motion to adopt.
Madam Chairman, I make a motion to adopt the agenda as it has been presented. Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to adopt the agenda as presented for today. All in favor, voice by saying aye.
Aye. Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Next, has the board had an opportunity to review the minutes from the September the 20th, 2012 board meeting? If so, a motion to approve.
Madam Chairman, there was a problem with, on page 15 of the minutes from the board meeting. Give folks a minute to turn to that. Deals with the code of conduct that we were looking at.
Is that on our iPad?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Is it 18?
15.
15.
What is it?
Page 15, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, fifth item from the top of the page, where it says licensees or registrants shall not remove another company's alarm equipment or signage from the customer's property. I believe we had indicated very clearly when we discussed that that would be without the owner's permission. And the phrase "without the owner's permission" was not included there, and it should be. It's not really a big deal, but I think that needs to be corrected.
Let's see which one, licensing, registration, and then another company's alarm equipment or signage from the customer's property.
Right, and we had indicated when we discussed that without the owner's permission. So if we can add that phrase in, I believe we will be in good shape there. Do we need to do that with a motion or just
You can make a motion to adopt them with the correction.
Yeah. Okay, so with that correction, I'll make a motion that we adopt the minutes as corrected.
I second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to adopt the minutes as corrected. All in favor, voice by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries with that correction. Next, we have the minutes from the September the 20th, 2012 board hearing. Does the board have an opportunity to review this document? And so, a motion to approve.
Make a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
I second.
We have a motion and a second to adopt the minutes or to approve the minutes as presented. All in favor, voice by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Mr. Simpson, you ready for your legal report? And we will be using your handout, not the iPad.
They're on the iPad.
But this is
They are on the iPad.
On there.
I made a couple of corrections this morning, just minor, so I wanted to give you physical copies. But the substance and on the iPad is more or less identical to what you had in the physical copy. I'll go ahead and start. It's not too bad of a legal report, too long. Yeah, go ahead.
Let me remind all commission members, we do need to speak into the microphone. We can all be heard.
All right. We'll start with the first case. 2012-022611. Respondent QA failed to submit 5 employee termination notices to the board within 30 days of each employee's termination from respondent's company. 3 of the employees were terminated in August 2011. 2 employees were terminated in November 2011. In response to the complaint, respondent QA stated the company has experienced an increase in employee growth in recent years and now updated its licensing registration system to track each employee's date of hire and termination for purposes of full compliance with the board. As such, my recommendation is to authorize a formal and civil consent order with a civil penalty of $250 for the first offense, it's 5 employees times $50, pursuant to Rule 0090-01-.069K.
Make a motion to concur with council.
Okay.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to concur with council's recommendation. All in favor, voice by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
The next case is 2012-022621. Respondent 2A failed to submit 3 employee termination notices to the board within 30 days of the employee's termination from respondent's company. The respective dates of termination were January and April 2012 and May of 2011, and such notices were received by the board in August 2012. In response, respondent stated the failure to comply with such termination notices was due to administrative oversight, and the respondent has implemented compliance measures to ensure the error does not occur again in the future. As such, my recommendation is to authorize a formal and send a consent order with a civil penalty of $150 for the 3 employees times the $50 per employee pursuant to the rule stated herein.
Make a motion to concur with the recommendation of our council for $150 civil penalty.
I second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to concur with council's recommendation. All in favor, voice by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
The next case is 2012-017851. Respondent QA failed to properly submit 1 employee termination notice to the board within 30 days. The notice was received by the board in June 2012, and the employee's termination was effective February 2012. The complaint was returned to the board as undeliverable as addressed. However, the respondent company is closed pursuant to notification received by the board in July 2012. Therefore, my recommendation is to still authorize a formal and send a consent order with a civil penalty of $50 instead of the $100. I apologize for the failure to submit the termination notice in a timely manner.
Make a motion to concur with council.
I'll second. Okay, we have a motion and a second to concur with council's recommendation. All in favor, voice by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, let me make sure I got my notes, it is 50, not
50 is
100.
50. The next case is 2012-022631. In October 2012, the board received termination notices for 2 employees, both of which were terminated in September and January 2010, respectively. Respondent QA responded stating this violation was due to administrative oversight and that he will ensure that measures are put into place to prevent this from occurring in the future. As such, my recommendation is to authorize a formal and send a consent order with a civil penalty of $100 per the rule stated herein.
Make a motion to concur with council.
Second.
Motion second to concur with council's recommendation. All in favor, voice by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
The next complaint is 2012-017941. In July 2012, the board received termination notices for 3 employees, all of which listed dates of termination as May and April of 2012. Respondents' company received the complaint in August 2012 requesting a response to such allegations. No response has been submitted to the board as of the date of this meeting. Therefore, my recommendation is to authorize a formal and send a consent order with a civil penalty of $250, which is $50 for the 3 employees times the 3 employees plus the $100 for failing to respond to the complaint in a timely manner, which totals $250 for the rules stated herein.
Make a motion to concur with the recommendation of our council. That'd be a total of a $350 proposed consent order.
That's 250.
150 plus 100.
And 50.
Okay, I'm sorry, Dave. You're correct, $250.
I second.
Motion and a second to concur with council's recommendation. All in favor, voice by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
The next complaint is 2012-007871. September 2011, respondent submitted 2 employee termination notices, both of which listed dates of termination in September of 2009 and April 2011. The complaint was mistakenly sent to a wrong address, but has been resent to the respondent requesting a response. Respondent, as of this date, has received the complaint but has not submitted a response to the board. As such, the recommendation would be to authorize a formal and a consent order with a civil penalty of, that should be $200. My math is not too good today. That's for $200 for the 2 employees times $50 plus the $100 for failure to respond to the complaint for the rule stated herein.
Make a motion to concur with council's recommendation.
I second.
Motion and a second to concur with council's recommendation. All in favor, voice by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
The next complaint is 2012-02-0201. My complainant alleges that she signed a monitoring contract with Respondent Monitoring Company in April 2009. Complainant in 2012 requested that her contract be canceled, but was informed her contract had been renewed automatically for another 36 months. Pursuant to TCA 6232 through 25A, which has been recently passed in the last couple of years by the legislature, states that a contract having an automatic renewal clause between an alarm contractor and any homeowner or renter for the provision of alarm services may automatically be renewed for a period not to exceed 1 year at a time. Any waiver or the renewal limitation period included in the contract shall be void as contrary to public policy. In response to the complaint, respondent representative stated that respondent company has acted in good faith to resolve this matter with complainant and has amended her contract so that her renewal period correctly reflects the statutory requirement of 1 year and not the previously contracted time period of 60 months. As such, my recommendation regarding this complaint is a letter of warning concerning the PCA Code 6232-325A.
Just a quick question, Andrew. One place you got 36, another place you got 60.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I did say 36. I apologize.
No,
It's,
okay. Doesn't really
it's-
matter.
As long as it can only
It's
be
60.
renewed for a year.
So it's 30.
It's 36.
Or it's 36.
3 years.
Okay,
Yeah, not 5 years, 36.
cool.
I was right the first time, not on the last one.
Madam Chairman, I make a motion to concur with the recommendations, council.
I second.
Motion and a second to concur with council's recommendation. All in favor, voice by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
The next complaint, it's 2 complaints versus the same company. 2012-019-361 and 2012-018-451. The first complaint, complainant alleges that respondent company's alarm system installed in complainant's residence has worked improperly, causing many false alarms, and requested respondent company cancel its contract immediately. In response to the complaint, respondent counsel stated the complainant initially contacted the respondent company in an effort to inspect the previously installed system, at which point respondent company dispatched technicians to inspect the issue. However, the complainant refused to have respondent company conduct such inspections and requested his contract be canceled immediately. Respondent counsel confirmed that complainant's contract has been terminated, and respondent company refunded all appropriate monies paid to respondent company by complainant, with all respondent company equipment removed from complainant's residence at no cost to the complainant. My recommendation for 2012-019-361 is to close this one.
Make a motion to concur with council.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to concur with council's recommendation. All in favor, voice by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
The next complaint is 2012-018-451. Complainant alleges that the alarm system is installed by respondent company had experienced low battery problems, and that respondent company charged complainant for having to repair and correct such issue. Respondent counsel stated there was complainant system after further inspection was experiencing battery issues, which was immediately corrected at no cost to the complainant. Subsequent to the complaint being filed, complainant submitted a statement wherein he confirmed that respondent company had corrected the issue with his alarm system and that he was fully satisfied with respondent's actions. My recommendation is to close.
Make a motion to concur with council.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to concur with council's recommendation. All in favor, voice by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
The next complaint is 2012-020491. Anonymous complainant alleges that respondent company advertised for fire alarm services on its website and company vehicles without the benefit of being properly certified in fire. Respondent is certified in burglary and CCTV. In response to the complaint, respondent owner stated that when he purchased the company in 2010, the company was properly certified in fire and that he erroneously left such advertisements on the vehicles and websites. In response to being made aware of this discrepancy, respondent stated that his company does not and has not previously engaged in any type of fire alarm activities and that he has removed all such advertisements from his vehicles and website. As of the date of this meeting, respondent has removed such advertisements from his website. As such, my recommendation is a letter of warning regarding the uncertified advertisements.
Madam Chairman, I make a motion we concur with the recommendation of council.
Second. Okay, we have a motion and a second to concur with council's recommendation. All in favor, voice by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
The next complaint is 2012-021151. Complainant, a former employee of respondent company, alleges that respondent company employs individuals who take illegal prescription drugs and that she was fired unjustly for having to leave early to go to the dentist's office. In response to the complaint, respondent manager stated that complainant was terminated for cause in September 2011 following a 90-day probationary period wherein she abandoned her employment without properly following company policy for notification to her superiors. Respondent manager further states that all respondent company employees undergo an annual drug test and that respondent company fully complies with Tennessee's drug-free work program. My recommendation is to dismiss this complaint.
So it is 2012.
2000.
September 12th.
I make a motion to concur with council.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to concur with council's recommendation. All in favor, voice by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
The next complaint is 2012-018491. Complaint alleges that respondent company, an online medical emergency response monitoring company, engages in unlicensed alarm activities. Respondent company sells a touch-tone device which enables users to contact respondent employees in case of an emergency, who has the ability to further assist with the user in contacting emergency response officials. Respondent company is an out-of-state company and offers this device solely on the internet to users who want this medical alert monitoring service. In response to the complaint, respondent representatives stated that respondent company does not presently maintain any customers in Tennessee and will be willing to comply with the board's decision regarding potential licensing matters concerning their company and the services they provide to customers in Tennessee. My recommendation was to have the board's discretion on this matter. This company does not have a license, and they are a medical alert monitoring company. From reviewing what the company does in trying to determine whether or not they need a license for an alarm system contractor's license, the board is aware that we have recently passed rules clarifying our exemption for these types of alert monitoring services, and one of the points that the board made clear in its rule was to clarify that the company be affiliated with certain types of. We clarified what a hospital affiliate was, and at this point, I could not determine whether or not this company had any type of affiliation with any type of hospital, which would then exempt them from our licensing requirements. Therefore, at this point, I left it up to the board's discretion in determining whether or not they would require this company to have a license. I can't verify other than what the company's owner told me in his response to his complaint, that he has no customers in Tennessee. Obviously, that can change in the future. Somebody from Tennessee purchases this system. My one recommendation would definitely be to, if the board requires licensing for this company, would be to place a disclaimer on their website stating the requirements for the board in terms of having that they don't have a license for operating in the state. But that's,
If I'm not mistaken, I remember us making it clear if they weren't with some government agency or something, they were required to have a license to install this equipment. And unfortunately, I probably heard a discussion about this about a month ago in standard ADI. Because the fact is they could add on something else, I think, if you were saying, Mr. Roberts.
Well, it would seem to me that, first of all, I feel like we need a letter of warning to be appropriate. If they have no customers in Tennessee, it's really kind of a moot point for us right now. Unless they fall within the rules that we established, which allows certain entities to provide basically elderly monitoring or elderly health services as kind of a public service, it would appear to me that this company would need to be licensed. Were they providing those services in Tennessee? I would feel like a letter of warning telling them that informing them that they would need to be licensed as a monitoring entity. My guess is that the system was probably installed by the owner, by the system owner. Whereas they've mailed it to somebody, the customer would set it up in their home. There may not be any installation required. Without knowing more particular, it'd be difficult.
I don't think there is any installation. It's actually a device you wear around your neck, and that's solely.
That was kind of my guess. So I would think that a letter of warning telling them that if they are monitoring these systems for customers in Tennessee, that they need to be licensed in the monitoring category. A motion.
We want to ask them to put a disclaimer on the website, what it said.
Well,
That would be
what they
nice.
do is they put it in fine print that you'd need a microscope to read it on the screen, and then it would flash on there for a grand total of 1 second. And I doubt that they would be terribly effective, to be honest with you.
And it wouldn't be on the payment tab when you put your credit card number on there. By the way, if you live in Tennessee, you can't do it.
Yeah, I doubt that they would be effective. That's somebody's practicing trumpet that makes right.
Back up again. Turn it off.
It'll
For a little while,
quit in a week
whatever.
or so.
It will go off.
We're not supposed to adjust it at all. That noise.
That's a valve vibrating. Yeah, Madam Chairman, I'd make a motion then that we send a letter of warning to this company informing them that should they have any customers in Tennessee, that in order to monitor the systems that they're selling, that they would need to be licensed. Second.
We have a motion and a second to send a letter of warning to this company advising them that if they were to have customers in Tennessee which would require monitoring services, that they would need to be licensed in the state of Tennessee. All in favor, those by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Andrew, you might also, just as a point of information to this company, include in that letter that if they are providing these services in Tennessee, they would also need to list the license number as part of their advertising.
Next complaint is 2012-022521. In February 2012, the board received an employee registration application for a respondent employee which listed a date of hire and registered position as October 2010. Respondent QA at the time such application was submitted in February 2012 submitted a letter to the board explaining the reason for submitting the application outside the requisite time period of 30 days, stating further that respondent company experienced some administrative turnover in 2010, which resulted in the late submission of the employee's application in 2012. Respondent QA reiterated the above reference response in his response to this complaint. So the QA did respond to the complaint as well. My recommendation as such would be to authorize a Form 1 send a consent order with a civil penalty of $650, which is the 13 months of unregistered activity times $50 pursuant to TCA 6232 312C.
Make a motion to concur with council.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for the council's recommendation. All in favor, voice by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
The next complaint is 2012-020701. Complaint alleges that respondent company advertised via its website fire alarm services without being properly certified in fire, and its failure to display the license number on such advertisements. In response to the complaint, respondent owner stated that the respondent company does not sell, install, or service fire alarms. Such service is included on its website due to respondent companies doing that type of service in other states. Respondent owner further stated that such language concerning fire alarm services has been changed to reflect its ability to provide only burglary and CCTV services in Tennessee, and has also since included its proper license number on the website. As such, my recommendation is a letter of warning regarding the advertising and certification number requirements pursuant to the Title 62, Chapter 30.
Make a motion to concur with council's decision.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to concur with council's recommendation. All in favor, voice by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Next complaint is 2012-021161. Complainant, a former employee of respondent company, alleges that he worked for respondent company for approximately a year without being properly registered with the board. In response to the complaint, respondent stated that complainant was hired in June 2011 in a position requiring him to manage respondent's telemarketing call center, and that at all times during his employment in such position was not involved in the actual sale, installation, or processing of customer alarm accounts. Additionally, respondent stated that complainant did not, during his employment, have access to respondent's file room or computer software concerning sensitive client information, and as such was not in a position requiring registration with the board. Therefore, my recommendation is to close.
Make a motion to concur with council's recommendation.
I'll second. Okay.
Andrew, let me ask you a question
It's
here.
got presented. Represented.
No, that's
Oh,
not
that's-
all.
Oh, okay. All right.
Was respondents' response to this? Seemed like that was.
Yeah, it's very detailed. And I of course don't include every single. But I
understand.
Yeah, but their response was very detailed, and it was.
They-
I have a sense this is a disgruntled employee as well.
Probably is, but their response was such that you didn't
Yes.
feel like some sort of letter of warning would be needed
Yes.
there.
No, I feel like a close would be necessary, and I appreciated their detailed response rather than just a very vague response.
We have a motion and a second to concur with council's recommendation. All in favor, voice by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
The last complaint is a represent. At the last board meeting, I presented this complaint, and the board requested that I solicit some additional information from the company regarding the issue stated in the complaint. So I'll read what I previously presented to the board at the last board meeting, and the part that's in bold at the bottom is an updated, or what has been updated since the last meeting. Complainant, a former employee of respondent company, alleges that respondent company continued to employ an unregistered employee following the employee's application for registration being denied by the board in April 2012. complainant states in her complaint that responding company was informed by the board in April 2012 this employee's application was deemed denied and the employee could not continue to engage in the sale, service, maintenance, monitoring, or installation of alarm systems. Complaint further states that responding company continued to employ the individual subsequent to the board's denial of the registration application, but failed to include any evidence of the type of work the employee allegedly was performing subsequent to the denial. In response to the complaint, responding company stated that the complainant is a disgruntled and misinformed former employee and that the responding company, since it was informed by the board to cease and desist from employing the individual in a capacity requiring registration, has adhered to such requirement, further placing the employee in a position not requiring registration. Responding company states further the employee, since being denied registration from the board, only engages in non-certified activities such as audio and video, is not permitted to engage in the sale, installation, or repair of alarm systems in the state of Tennessee, nor does the employee have access to information concerning the responding company's alarm customers. Responding company understands and accepts that it is in violation of the Alarm Act previously for employing the individual without registration. The board had assessed a civil penalty against this company for these violations, which is currently pending, and has complied diligently. And the company has complied diligently with the board's order to cease and desist from placing the employee in a position requiring registration. Following that summary to the board at the last board meeting, the board wanted a little bit more detail from the company as to this employee's job duties and what he's been doing since being denied registration in April. And as such, the following is a summary of what they included in the response. The board authorized legal to solicit additional responses from responding company concerning specific job duties and responsibilities concerning this employee. At the request of the board, respondent responded, stating that following the board's decision to deny the employee's registration, the employee was never in a position requiring registration and performed only services such as the sale, installation, and services of audio, video, and network cabling services. Respondent company further stated they have complied fully with the board's decision to cease and desist from working this employee in a position requiring registration. That the complainant, in this case, is a former disgruntled employee with no direct evidence of any violation by responding company or the employee involved. Additionally, the company fully understands, based upon the board's decision at the last, when they denied this employee, that and their attempt to resolve that complaint, that they would be in violation if they continued working. So at this point, the company is, when I last spoke with them, was prepared to accept the company's they were prepared to accept the consent order that you guys issued or authorized. It was for $20,000. They had previously paid $15,000, and the board wanted. Well, the board originally authorized $25,000. They offered $15,000. I don't know if you guys remember that. And then you guys wanted $20,000, and after reiterating that to them, the board's decision for $20,000, they said they would be willing to accept that. Currently, I have not received confirmation of that, but I expect it to be. I think they were trying to figure out the money situation of getting that additional $5,000, but they expect to pay it and resolve the matter. So, in terms of this complaint, I feel that the company has not worked this individual based upon their responses to the complaint and the additional information we solicited. As such, my recommendation stands as a letter of instruction to the company to continue not employing this individual until or if he has registration.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Let me read something and then I'll take my question. Following the board's decision to deny the employee registration application, the employee was never in a position of requiring registration and performed only services such as the sale, installation, and servicing of audio, video, and networking cabling services. They still gonna let him do all that?
Yes.
He's still gonna be employed with the company?
Yes.
Yeah, and if I remember correctly, he's related to the elder or something.
Audio, video. Yes, me. That sounds like CCTV to me.
Not necessarily, and that, of course,
Not always.
yeah, I don't have any knowledge
now.
of it. they could be installed in the video projection system. When you talk about audio, video,
Home theater.
I'm thinking in terms of, I'm not really
With
thinking of
network
home theater,
cabling
but,
services.
video projection systems, audio systems, things like that. So, that my first thought was, well, the disposal dollars compared to, it may not be. I'll make a motion, then, Madam Chairman, that we concur with the recommendation of council to issue a letter of instruction in this particular case.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to concur with council's recommendation. All in favor, voice by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
And that concludes my legal report.
Thank you. I think it shows next on the agenda proposed rules updates. Do you have anything on that?
They have been drafted. I'm still working with my deputy counsel and chief counsel just to review it, and should be filing it with, before the new year.
Thank you.
Madam Chairman, I'd like to make a point that I feel like our council is doing an excellent job just going through this, and I'd like to commend him for the job he's doing. I appreciate Andrew. I think he's doing us a good job.
Thank you, Ken.
Thank you. Ms. Best?
I'm on exhibit B.
We're ready.
This is just your, again, this is an open report.
It turns every time we turn, it's turning.
But anyway, you used to see in this report, right now, as it stands, we have 44 open complaints. Well, you've closed several today, so we'll let that on. And I think, Andrew, this is correct. We've not had quite a few of those complaints. I get back to my other section here, so we'll do the disciplinary report. We're gonna go through the same stopping there, if you have any questions. Beth, I believe we've already sent this to them now.
Yeah, we got a.
I haven't sent them the disciplinary report, I sent them the monthly report.
Okay, we'll try to keep you updated on that. Well, let's, if we're there to see is the disciplinary report, we'll want to go to September. Got it?
Yeah.
Gotta give her time to respond there, Madam Chair. Easy.
Need a bigger hammer.
Mine's not working too well either.
What are you trying to do?
Trying to get it to go back.
It won't
No,
go
we
back.
can't do that.
Mine had
We appreciate
disappeared.
it, you and
What do you think?
So we're on
He's got
exhibit
mine,
C
right?
now?
Mine was gone.
Yes, we're going to go to C. Can't get to go back to the library, so put here.
And I have an iPad. I never had problems with it.
My speaker icon keeps coming up.
Just try a different one. I'll let you use hers.
It's usually the bottom of my phone.
Technology.
Yeah, it's
It did, man. It was stuck on.
Okay, all right.
Thank you. We're ready to go.
Okay, September. We only have one there for the alarm board, that was $1,000 civil penalty. Plus, that was your hearing, plus $320 for investigation and your assault. In September. So on to the next page, we're going to have October. You got that yet? October. Okay. I might be reading mine wrong, but look at the first one, it says $750 civil penalty, second $50 civil
Yep.
penalty. The third, I don't see anything. There's an error on our part. Yeah, that's weird.
Failure to respond.
It needs to be correct, we left off the amount, so we'll correct it.
How much was it?
Okay. Well, the internet without our report. So, remember how much it was?
fund it, pay the first one on the orange system as a formal. Did he also pay the back, the prior penalty? It doesn't say here, I just.
Yeah, I think, didn't he pay those the same day that he was here for the year?
He paid that day.
I thought he brought us a
Before you
receipt.
gave us the check, gave us the check, we'll never come over. We
Has
paid
entered a receipt for the
So he had to make payment there and all that was taken care of. Okay. Finish that report, and let's see if I can get back. All right. So we'll go to exhibit E. All right, this is, this company is Gallagher and Associates, is asking for a second extension. I believe it was yesterday when Rebecca, we talked to this gentleman, Mr. Piero. I if I pronounced that properly, I might have. C-A-L-I-A-A-R.
Telefero.
He is making a diligent effort. We're waiting for, he is taking another exam and we're waiting for that next one. He should be ready to go.
Madam Chairman, I make a motion that we grant Gallagher and Associates a 30-day extension. I think 30 days will be enough, Cody.
Oh, yes, sir, it should be.
Grant them a 30-day extension to replace their DQA.
Okay.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to grant Gallagher and Associates an additional 30-day extension to replace the DQA. All in favor, voice will say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
All right, we want to be just rather strict here this time. We'll go to exhibit F. What we have here is a review of an associate's degree. An employee on agent applicant. You have Mr. Steiner there. He had to go with co-application. He went to California State Polytechnic University.
This degree is not quite an electrical engineering. I think on the agenda I had put review of associate's degree, but he has a full degree. It's just not exactly what the statute said.
But isn't it in engineering technology?
He has a
Right.
Bachelor of Science in Engineering Technology. It's not electrical engineering, which is what the statute says. I put the statutory requirements on the front page of the exhibit, just so. Here, back to that. iPad thing in there.
D's and F's in physics and linear circuit, integrated circuits. Hope he's doing better now. Circuitry.
He has considerable experience, so.
I wasn't making a joke, but I was just saying I hope he's doing better now with
I mean,
circuitry.
that probably counts
Because
for
back-
2 years.
D's and F's and M's.
company he applied with is in Anaheim, California,
Right.
and
Any more
So
so
is he-
your stuff is play and play. The only time you need to know anything is when you go to troubleshoot.
So, looks like this would take about 2 years. I'm looking at a number of courses here, 2 semesters.
he applied in Berg and closed circuit television.
And he passed the test in both of those, right?
I haven't got a test for you. Unless it's in your packets. No, all I got is this degree.
So all we have is this college transcripts.
Yeah, you're just approving the degree portion, if you're gonna accept it as a 4-year degree or a 2-year degree. Or either.
You can only accept it as 2 years if we're gonna do it, period.
Well, he's got a BS degree, that's a 4-year degree.
But this
Right,
is
but
a
since
2-year.
it's not in electrical engineering, in the past, you guys have accepted some things that were outside the scope to
Right.
make the 2-year degree.
So he's got a 4-year degree, they called it in engineering technology. But looking through the courses that,
The semesters,
oh yeah, he's got your electronic circuits and all sorts of stuff in here. Madam Chairman, I feel like that my opinion would be that that he's got a 4-year degree, the university's calling it engineering technology, but to me it looks reasonably equivalent to an electrical engineering degree. So I'd be willing to accept this as the equivalent to it for an electrical engineering degree. Look through the courses here, the coursework.
also you look at the dates, the years, it started in 87, I thought 86, and ended in 91, so you've been in there 4 years.
Yeah, it's obviously it would appear to me to be a 4-year degree, and the coursework is comparable to what you would have in electrical engineering. So, Madam Chairman, I make a motion that we accept this as this particular degree is equivalent to the required electrical engineering.
And I'll second it.
Okay. We have a motion and a second to accept this 4-year degree as fitting for the electrical engineering requirement. All in favor, voice by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
We can go to exhibit G now. This is also to review for an associate's degree for qualifying. Cumberland County University.
If you hit them harder, they move faster.
Never know, I've had to be weather contents, I guess.
This one's a little bit different. It's a 2-year degree. This person actually works for a central station here locally and has got 4 years, and he's 7 months shy of having the 5 years of experience. And they recently lost their qualifying agent. He's going to be the replacement.
So did they ask for an extension?
It's just happened the last 10 days. They've notified us properly.
That's what I've never seen that. We discussed it, but he doesn't qualify because it's 7 months.
Yeah, he's short. But if we accept this to be the 2-year degree, he only needs the 4 years, so he's been with his company for quite some time. It's one of the central stations here locally. And all they have is monitoring.
he's asking us to approve this as a 2-year degree in engineering technology. Madam Chairman, I would make a motion that we accept this degree as equivalent to the required 2-year associate's degree in engineering technology.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to accept this 2-year degree program for engineering technology. All in favor, voice by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
I say that after looking at the actual courses that he engaged in. The first year is kind of general coursework, but the second year, it looks like that he is working with networks and programming, and looks like he made good grades in it. So, yeah, I think we took the right action.
All right, before we take a break, Madam Chair, Mr. Green, I believe, he is your exhibit. Perhaps we can go ahead. Mr. Green, do you have any documentation you want to tell people?
My fiance did type up something over here, and I didn't forward to you.
When?
I've got my insurance certificate, and she said that she could find it.
Okay, is there something you want us to make copies of before?
I renew my business license and pay my taxes. You guys need to see that.
Those are things was it you typed up and sent to the
If you don't mind bringing it up, she can.
All I got was the insurance certificate.
Oh, okay.
I don't have any.
So you do have the document and it's yours?
No, I don't. It's on our, I'm seeing it from our phone, and I look at our credit report, which thing, so.
Oh, all right. Well, Ms. Green, would you come up, please, and doesn't you have to sign in somewhere there?
Yes, and I've got it right here, sorry. There you go. And if anybody needed, actually, it just came through. Yeah, it just now came through. Yes.
Mr. Green's here for us to review his qualification application. If you would, Mr. Green, Mr.
Sure.
Just see that Mr. Green's already been here. It was for his employee registration, which he did for.
Several years.
Now, yes, now he's applying for the qualifying agents for the work.
This employee application was back in 2007.
Mr. Green, are you still with the same company?
Security Enterprises? Yes, ma'am.
You were in the registry.
Mm-hmm.
Let me start this over. He's applied for it.
This Mr. Frank, and I'm not gonna attempt his last name.
Gusmus?
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Is he gonna invest with you? Is that what this letter says?
Yes, ma'am.
He speaks highly of you.
Very nice person.
When did Scott give you this letter?
Same day that I sent the first two letters over to Bev. I got that one over just a little bit afterwards.
There's probably two letters from him in there, one from his employee, when it was approved in '06. Some of the, I found.
Oh, okay.
Your employee, where they had to appear before the board.
Okay, I think that's where I was looking at.
Yeah.
Oh, that one, I'm not sure about the letter from back then.
That's fixed. You did approve it with the quarterly drug screen.
Yeah.
After that,
Right.
no, sir.
Yes, sir.
Who's Jeff Spears?
This is my current employer, Security Enterprises.
Is this business certified?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
There's no certification number anywhere on his correspondence that I can see. apparently you have a level one certification. 12250.
I don't think that entire document came through.
That's what I was
If you
wondering.
notice, it's all sideways. All I got was part of it.
Oh, okay. I mean, the scanner that was using.
Yeah, all I
Are
got
you
was part of it.
talking about his contractor's license number?
Or contractor's license.
Yes, 1187 first.
That's not on the list.
Oh, it's not? Okay.
Well,
I thought you typed it at the top of it.
it could be, I don't think it's in the system.
not.
I got the wrong
Oh,
person.
okay. I might have.
All I have
It's
is
not
this
wrong.
one.
Let me see if I. Oh goodness. He put his. He took a picture of his actual QA license on the bottom of it. Let me see if I have it on me.
You notice from the minutes, that first letter we got no file from his employer. Y'all find it for $100 because it wasn't on there. That was wrong.
Here it is, right here. Here's the actual copy of Jeff with his license. His actually his qualifying agent badge.
His name is Scott Ross. It's S. Ross.
That's his qualifying agent license. The company license
Yeah,
is
he
It's
Yeah,
at the top up there.
Farm Security Enterprises,
It's up top.
1187. It is on there.
Y'all can keep that copy if you need it.
And the top part didn't come through on.
His license up to the top. This.
Madam Chairman, after reviewing the records here, I see no reason that, based on this criminal record, that this should provide a bar, Mr. Green, becoming a qualified agent. And if he meets the other requirements, I think that should be granted.
Okay.
Now, I'll put that in the form of a motion.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to approve Mr. Green's qualifying agent application.
Has he met all the other requirements?
Could you test it?
Passed the test. I've got documentation of his experience. I think we were waiting for his insurance certificate from the company, which he just sent me.
I've got 10 copies of that actually on me right now.
Why don't we put it in the form that his criminal record will not be an obstacle to his license being, his qualifying agent license being issued.
That's kind of what I put in your motion.
We have a motion by Mr. McKenzie and a second by Mr. Tucker to approve Mr. Green's application for qualifying agent. And nothing in his criminal history that we find would disqualify him from this position. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Wish you had a good luck charm.
Yeah, we'll get this back upstairs. It
Appreciate
might
it.
be tomorrow before we have a chance to get it completely processed.
Okay. Is that number here actually my license number?
Your license number for the company, which is the one you have to post on everything you do.
Yes, ma'am.
Is going to be 1732.
Okay.
Your qualifying agent license number is going to be 1715, but you don't post that, you post your company license.
Yes, ma'am.
Vortex Alarm Systems LLC, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Something else you will need to do, the application you submitted for a qualifying agent did not have the company information on it, it was left blank.
I actually resent that into Mr.
Did
Gillespie.
you send another one?
Yes, ma'am. He
Okay.
actually sent me. He actually talked to me over the phone and said he was going to mail it to me, but I talked to him and
Did you send it electronically?
I did.
When
And
you get back to Memphis, would you send it again?
sure, absolutely.
That way, send it to me so I can bring it out, put it in here and get it processed.
All right. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for coming.
Do everything right, Mr. Green.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
I'll be in recess until 10:40.
Are we that far ahead?
Call back to order this November 2012 meeting of the Tennessee Tennessee Alarm Systems Contractors Board. Ms. Best, do you want to give your financial report, or do you want to go to the education courses?
This is the way I think I want to hit us forward if we're looking at your budget here. I did pass it out, I just got it not too long ago, recently on Wednesday. It's for the last 4 years, but we're only interested in right now, trust the revenue here. The total revenue that we took in was $868,885. You can see from this year and last year, we had a bit of an increase. That was due to revenue due to the change in the companies. I've talked to you about that before. Well, some of this is still occurring. We do expect to still see some additional revenue in the next fiscal year. The regulatory fee is the $5 the license fee. Your net total is $833,905. That's what we'll have to go up to the hill and claim all of that. So it's going to be the same explanation that I gave you the last time. Out of that, I'll go ahead and tell you for the our new computer system, CORE. The contract, I understand, has been signed. They're moving forward, and of course we'll have our part of that. And if in conjunction with that, I talked to you, you send that over, whatever Andrews, they will send them out to you about the registered employee on license. Our technical people tell me that you can assign the same expiration date as the company to the registered employee when we do the conversion. Anybody transferring in or anybody new, obviously, would have a different expiration date, which is years out. They had some problems with, and asked me to put on hold, just having the monitoring company not getting the license for the program. That would take some extra changes from what I understand from IT, so I said, well, let's just focus on getting it before we done it one night. And then when I get onto the new system, we might have an opportunity to break out who's monitoring. We sit down and we took a look at that, and Beth and I worked on that. It was a little bit more involved than what I had thought was we have to do a classification of work on CCTV has to be monitored only. But what happens with John Smith over here, he does CCTV and monitoring. But he's got one for he puts over here today, and he moves it over here to transfer it within herself, and it was too complicated.
That'd be hard to keep up with.
Yeah, it was just a good idea, we thought. They've asked me to put a hole in that, but we are moving forward with the registered employee and having no expiration date on that. We hope that will help our office with this termination and this transfer. In the new system, we have asked if you transfer from, let's just say AB Liquor Store Incorporated to ABC Liquor Store and Bar Incorporated. It's the same entity, but it has a different name, different number from the Secretary of State. All those employees have got to be transferred over to this new company within the bag. Right now, we do that by hand. The new system we've asked, and I believe they can do it. They can electronically do that for us. That would save us a tremendous amount of time. Right now, we still on, we have on the, we bring it down here, it's only for the new employee. I have one vacancy left, and I'm going to put that vacancy into the loan program. But with the budget restraints, I don't know what they're going to do with that vacancy. I haven't been told yet. I hired 2 people, told you with one of them, I could not find another one on the register at the time. Everything has changed. The system that we use to hire individuals now has completely changed. The way it works when you terminated your promotion, receive a promotion is completely different. So we got kind of caught up in that transition. I've been told in anywhere from 2 to 6 weeks it was. My position should be out there for individuals to go out there and apply. So if it means that you know somebody who wants a position, you tell them that it's out there and you go and apply. It's not like you're going to have a blanket with the state that says all licensed executives define this in everybody's name. So that's not going to work like that. They have to apply to their loan contract board or be an employee. Or they have to apply to the contractor's board, just not a blanket, which should make it easier there's 15 people, I'm still required to use this. If there is a military individual who's retired or left the service, whatever, we must give them, we're looking at them first. That is government.
You were talking about the computer system, and will that come out of,
Yes, but it's, you'd think it'd come out of the reserve. What they're going to do, they'll drop this money down into the reserve, and they'll sit down and take a look at. It's a little different formula. It's based on, my fee is based on the number of licensees. They'll go, alarm board has 17,000 employees, we're going to charge X number of dollars. Then they'll come over here to my smaller program, like that's got 500, obviously we want to be small. The more, of course, you have more.
but you don't have to.
No, I don't have that. And it may take a couple of years to even see that. But we are moving forward with the move. We're told that we'll be moving June, excuse me. That's what the tentative schedule was December, now it's moved up to June. So we're prepared for that. I had asked for 2 temporaries to assist us because all the employees now are working 3 days at their normal job. Wednesdays and Fridays, they have to clean the files out, they have to get them ready, have to get them barcoded. All the employees have to take a day of the week to go into the scanning room. So they don't have about 5 days of just staying steady with doing this work. We're trying to prepare to move into the scanning section. We have to have all that done before we move. We will be going to Richards and Richards instead of White Mountain. I got that clear through CGI. That was a really hold up for us. That's where they want us to send all our expired applications. I'm trying to hold off the best I can to make sure we scan every live application, every form I need. So every file I have in my office that has an expiration time. I just cannot send them off to storage. Especially if we're going to renew. This is a major undertaking. Your program has been here since 1993. Some of these files are so big they take up half our shelves. We have to go through each one of them. Have to collect paper.
Scan every document.
Every document has your barcode, your sheet. If the documents you have in there, some of them are so long they have that, they call sheet paper, that real fine.
Yeah, and fax transmittals that are
All that has to be
thermal,
copied.
that are fading.
Yes, they all have to
Human
be
believe.
No, but this is just a major undertaking.
Is this new computer system the one that works so well for the DCS?
We certainly hope not. I don't think they have this system.
Yeah, I think
I'm gonna do the education real quick, so
yes,
But, hold on just a second, I just want to, that's what you got, our your expenses. Now, when I do have to go off to the hill, I'm only asking the board that you can come in and do support with you, appreciated it last year. The representatives certainly endorse seeing the board, see that you do have participation, they certainly appreciate it. Andrew and I hope the assistant commissioner, we'll be explaining the use of that funds up there. Take that with me. Then we go ahead, go ahead and do it.
yes, ma'am. We only have the 2 courses that were submitted. One of them was the resubmission of the ESA electronic access control. I did pull out the original submission of that, if anybody wanted to look at it. They sent us a little bit more detailed course outline, and again, we requested it be approved for 16 hours instead of only 8, and that it be approved for employee training.
I read through the outline, and as a person in both industries, it feels like they're taking an alarm tech and trying to teach you how to put 40 years of locksmith experience under his belt in 2 days, and vice versa, a locksmith.
So they're wanting to cross-train people to be able to do this right.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be good knowledge either way. It's not a bad
Well, do you
thing.
think their employees are gonna be doing locksmith jobs, and that the locksmiths which are prohibited from doing a
As
single
long as
entry?
they have to get 2 licenses like me, I don't care. More money for straight. I'm just saying, it just looks like they're cross-training.
Well, again, he kind of put that in his cover letter, that that's what they wanted to be able to do, so that,
Yeah. LJ is mainly a alarm. He's more of an alarm person than a locksmith, but with his experience and access and control, he's had to learn about backset, handed
Right.
doors, and a lot of different things.
well, he's a locksmith instructor too. He's approved. He mainly teaches the 2 hours of laws and rules on locksmith, but he also does some other stuff. He works really closely with the locksmith association. I mean, would that be something that you guys would reconsider, or are you gonna leave it where you left it in July, that it's 8 hours continuing in only? Because of all the overlap. The electronic access control course that was submitted in July, and the board would only approve it at that point for 8 hours because it had too much information that was locksmith
Locksmith stuff.
We approved it for continuing education.
for 8 hours.
For 8
For 8
hours.
That's all.
They wanted 16.
They wanted 16 and they wanted it approved for employee training to take the place of level 1.
I don't think.
No.
I mean, just my personal opinion, I don't think it should be replaced for level 1.
Okay? What about more than 8 hours of continuing ed for a qualified agent? This was submitted more in the way of an appeal.
Yeah. That's interesting. But until we get a classification and until we start get a classification and card access, I'll say no, right?
Well, I agree with the idea that should not be employee equivalent to
Right.
level 1. I mean,
Yeah.
I just don't see it. Unless, of course, the particular employee were only going to be involved in access control.
Right.
So I just don't see that as being a reasonable equivalent. I can't see somebody having gone through this course trying to go out and install a burglar alarm system.
Right.
It'd be a big mistake. I just don't see that happening.
Unless we had a separate category access control, which does make sense.
Which we don't. And
Right.
That's legislative, so. Then, with regards to 16 hours of continuing education for a QA as opposed to 8.
Some of the time,
Yeah.
I read it on my laptop, but I didn't have it printed off.
It's a 2-day course.
Some of these things where they only go an hour and a half for,
It's a 2-day course.
they're not gonna get through an hour and a half. There's gonna be so much discussion, because the alarm contractors are not gonna understand some of this stuff. Then he's gonna have to do so much explaining.
I could read.
It might be a 2-day course, but I don't think they do what teaching. Be a lot of talk.
Well, but,
If it's a basic overview of access control for somebody that really doesn't have a whole lot of
it's
experience.
more in depth than just an overview. I mean, it's a pretty comprehensive course.
Yeah, when you get into more to style locks and, I don't know.
It deals with
Well, I'm sure it's
power
gonna-
supplies, anti-pass bank.
I mean, to be totally technical, since we accept anything that has an NTS course number, if somebody submitted it with an NTS course number, we would give it face value.
I really don't have a big problem with getting QA 16 hours of credit for a 2-day, pretty comprehensive course. Anybody else want to see this?
I think it'd be real good for
Do we want to do
I think
separate
I made the
motions for these
decision at the
two
meeting
items?
that
I
that
think
came down.
probably would help.
Separate motions, yes.
All right, I'll make a motion that we approve this course for 16 hours of continuing education for a QA.
I second.
But not accepted for
And not accepted for employee training.
Yeah, and not accepted for employee training equivalent to level
Right.
1.
Motion and a second, all in favor, Elizabeth say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
The only other item that we have on this report is the Alarm Association of Florida, and they have submitted their 2013 conference, which is going to be held in April. Apparently, instead of using independent courses, they put their whole program together in 50-minute segments. So I'm assuming to get a certificate, you have to attend all of it. They put a pretty good presentation on how course participant evaluations were done. And they're only asking for 14 hours for the whole conference.
Yeah, the application, however, showed that they're asking it for employee training, initial application, continuing education, all of the above. We've checked all of the above. And I just don't feel like that's going to get the
I
job.
don't think they understood what really what.
That may well be the course.
So just continuing education.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with improving this for continuing education.
14.
Yeah, reasonably so. It's a 3-day curriculum, isn't it? Something like that.
They're going to get one blanket certificate showing 14 hours is what my understanding is, if they attend the whole thing.
Yeah, this thing, it's spread
It
out.
says
over
14
3
hours
days.
qualifier renewal course on the certificate. So I really don't think they understood all the
I think
boxes they were checking.
proving this for the 14 hours of continuing education, I don't have a problem with it. I'll make a motion to approve that this course from the Florida Alarm Association of Florida for 14 hours of continuing education.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the course, Alarm Association of Florida, 14 hours continuing education. All in favor, Elizabeth say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
That
Anything
was all
else?
I had on my education.
Yeah, let me bring, while we talked about education, let me bring up something that has occurred recently. I had the opportunity within the last week, well, it's a week ago today, to participate in a program that was put on by the state. It was Workman's Comp. A very valuable presentation to show companies how to deal with workers' compensation issues, from training, the documentation, drug-free workplace, all of this. To me, that course for an hour, it was an hour-long presentation. To me, a course like that for an hour's presentation would be very, very, very valuable to most of the companies that I know up there in their alarm industry. They don't have the opportunity to do that. It's not being presented as continuing education because there's nobody sponsoring it. We really don't have any sort of mechanism for presentations like that. You know, the alarm industry, the TNESA puts on continuing education, but they don't do that because they're not all that. They don't do the general business things like the workman's comp.
They did that one last year, that when they were here in Nashville, they did one business-related thing, because you guys approved it. It was on some kind of tax. I could look it up. It was on how to keep, and it might have been on some of these new workers' comp laws and things too, which are really
Stuff
complicated.
has really changed in the last 2 years. It's changed a lot.
Is that something anybody can sign up for that has a federal ID number or a state employer ID number? How did you sign up for it?
It was one that state employee brought to McMinnville and was presenting it to the business roundtable that I'm a part of there.
That came through mine and hometown all over.
Excellent presentation.
It was like the
For an
change
hour.
order.
Yeah, it's something like a change.
Yeah.
The guy was for an hour. I mean, he put on bam, 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 really good information, solid facts, and then gave us enough information to follow up on. And I wish we had some sort of mechanism where we could do courses like that readily as part of our continuing education, because it's a valuable part of what
Did they give
people
you a certificate when you completed it?
that we weren't really doing it for continuing
Right, I
It was just
understand
like a
that.
seminar you could sign up for
Yeah.
and attend.
We don't really have
Business
any
people.
mechanisms for that.
Well, again, if an individual took it, you can submit it on your own behalf.
But, you know, it wouldn't be an approved course here because we, as a board, have not approved something.
Well, again, a lot of, sounds like the stuff we did at the last meeting where this guy took this whole entree certification class, it didn't get put on the approved course list because he only submitted it for himself. But if there's some way we could contact the Department of Labor and find out what they call it, and if they would be willing to give a certificate of completion to people that wanted to sign up for continuing ed who were licensed alarm qualified agents. If you can send me whatever made you sign up for it, I don't mind contacting them to see if we can put it on our approved course list.
Right. Okay. I'll try to follow up on it. And the only reason I do that is because the material that was presented, I learned a lot. And I would assume that anybody in the alarm industry, from large companies to very, very small companies, would find that information very, very valuable to them as an employer. If anybody over 5 employees, no, it's less than that. And you've got to count yourself also as one of those. It affects virtually everybody. And extremely important information as to how to deal with workers' comp issues. What do you do with an employee gets in? How do you deal with this? How do you, what kind of insurance do you have to have? How do you, what about the affidavit that they're required to sign when you follow a work-related action? I bet you most people don't realize that the employee under state law is now required to sign an affidavit that releases their medical information to the employer.
Right.
And I bet you there's not one person out of 100 that knows it. So I wish we had. I'm not aware of a good mechanism for approving material like that. And we're supposed to approve it in order for it to be qualified for continuing education.
When I was in Tyco, we had that, a whole list of steps we had to follow when somebody did get hurt.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about. Be a great course.
Okay, I'll see what I can find. Maybe we can put together something.
I mean, even if you just send me the email or whatever you got that said, yeah, I want to see that, I
I'll try to
can
follow
figure
up
it
on
out.
it. I'll
If
try
you
to
can
follow
find
up.
it, Karen, let me know.
And here again, I would do it just because I feel like it would be of value to the industry.
If you would, if you would turn to Exhibit H, I believe Mr. Johnson.
Yes. Mr. Johnson,
Would you please come in and sign up? Well, I don't want to Jason.
That's me.
Okay. This is what we're going to talk. Anybody else that comes up? This is your Exhibit H, Jason Collins.
are you Mr. Thomas?
I am
You,
Craig Miller, RQA.
Mr. Miller.
Okay, we need to give it a few minutes, I have not had an opportunity to review this.
Absolutely.
This is not an appeal, this is a brand new application.
transaction.
Look at page 19, it does have what the last one discussed. It starts there with the way it goes.
Just so I can be clear, so maybe so I know exactly what I'm reading here. Maybe explain it to me so I won't
Which part specifically is I'm assuming we're talking about the conspiracy charges?
Yeah.
Effectively, I owned and operated a company that manufactured an ISO 7816 standard smart card reader writer. If you're not familiar with that standard, it's a standard.
The card you was
I was manufacturing a device, much like a disk drive for a computer,
Okay.
but it interfaces to a smart card.
That's
Now, a smart card is a standard credit card size card.
that you push in the front of the.
Yeah, and it's actually used in, credit cards use it that way, trade shows use it that way. All federal government employees, that's their state ID is printed on the smart card. So and I was actually in that market, so I was manufacturing a smart card reader writer that was commercially viable, and I was completely public, completely open company. I mean, paying 401k for my employees, whole 9 yards. It was an above board thing. At the point it became illegal is when I engineered one of my devices to specifically work with DirecTV's latest generation of card.
Right.
And when they came out with that new card, and I engineered that device specifically to work with that, that was where it became an illegal device. And I completely own that. That was a mistake on my part. I should not have done that.
And I just wanted to be clear.
Oh, sure. I know, because there's a lot of information. It's kind of hard to...
Because I didn't know whether it was the device or the card.
Yeah, no, it wasn't the card. It was just it was the device. It's much like a gun is meant for legal purposes, hunting and self-defense and that kind of thing. But then once you use it for an illegal purpose, it's a criminal act, which is effectively. So the devices I were manufacturing were legal until I engineered that last one, which was in the last 3 months that I was in business, actually.
So that went on for 3 months.
Yeah.
How many of those cards were sold?
Thousands.
That's why this number looks like that. Okay.
Yeah. I was distributing worldwide.
What will you be doing for Guardian Security?
Sales. And it was 11 years ago, and I completely admitted I made a mistake. I did some things wrong.
So Mr. Thompson, your conviction from, I believe, 2003 is a felony conviction,
Yes.
which prohibits you from owning, carrying, or possessing a firearm, correct?
Correct. Prevented me from being able to vote this one.
You still had to sit through the advertising, though, didn't you?
Yes, I did. And I still had a very formed opinion about who I would have voted for as well.
Has the board had an opportunity to review this file, particularly page 19 of the document?
anybody has any questions, it's an open book. I'll answer them as openly, as honestly as.
Well, I don't think it's really a matter of lack of information.
Mr. Tolleson, I can only speak for myself at this point, but I cannot in good conscience vote to approve your application. I just feel like the situation here, our statute that applies, you just do not fit under within our framework. I don't have the other members of the board, they can speak for themselves, but I could not in good conscience do that. Now, others understand there are other avenues of appeal should you choose to pursue those, but this particular situation you've been involved in, I just do not feel like it would fit within the framework that our statute, or that would fit within the standards that our statute requires.
Are you aware of the statute?
I am not, actually.
I can give you the citation. It's TCA 6232-303, subsection 9, subsection B, subsection I.
9B.
I.
Yeah, I wasn't aware that there was a hard and fast rule. I thought it was simply a.
It's the law that says the evidence based on felony conviction or moral character.
Yeah, 6232-303, which provides definitions, subparagraph, mine's an older copy. Yeah, so they've got a new recitation. If you get a copy of the statute, 6232-303, look on the paragraph, basically paragraph 9. I give you the requirements that we fall under. So, I don't know how the other members of the board feel, but
That's nothing personal. It's just that's the way the law reads.
I was under the assumption that there were that you guys had kind of the power to make that decision.
we have to make decisions, and the statute's fairly clear. We have to make decisions related to, of course, again, each individual applicant's different. Each one brings together their own experiences, their own background, and some of them are clear, some of them we have to try and evaluate. And it's not an easy job sometimes. I'm not trying to make excuses, but basically the subsection we quoted refers to good moral character. The definition there, 6232-303, outlines a number of things that are prima facie evidence of not having good moral character. And I would believe that the situation that you've been involved with would fall within those statutory definitions. So, and that's the reason for it. Again, it's not a personal thing. I don't know you from anybody else. And prima facie evidence, can be appealed. But as far as I'm concerned, on the board, I would not feel that you fit within the framework of the requirements that we are obligated to require of applicants. Anybody else want to comment before I agree? Okay. I Madam
Would
Chair.
have anything different to say to Mr. Thompson?
Not only is more character stated that we can't grant a license to someone convicted because it's a felonious assault.
Felonious assault.
Well, this is on the public, basically. I mean, it's still a felony.
But there's any particular assault involved. But anyway, the basic definition of good moral character, I would not feel that your background fits within that. Therefore, I will make the motion, Madam Chairman, that you do not grant this application. I think we've already denied the application, and this is really an appeal, if I understand correctly. This is the initial application.
It's a appeal.
You already have the appeal, that's what you're looking at on 19. It's not brand new application.
New application.
Brand new application.
I then make a motion that we do not grant this application.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to deny this application for a lot of employees. All in favor, voice will say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Fortunately, your application is denied.
Thank you for the time.
Thank you.
If I'm not mistaken, we also have some complaints as well for some illegal activity at this point.
Do we have any unfinished business that we want to move into?
I guess that one question that we talked about in Andrew's office, that Andrew said he was bringing up. About retaking the exam, we have time. Exam.
Okay. I was informed earlier this week, and we just have not had time to take a sit. I'm going to meet with the appropriate people, but there has not been any that has to bid on that license.
No, retake or reapply.
So let me finish, did I already say this? That's not going to have to review what we have, with Andrew, we have to get with, other people with this, but as it stands right now, unless somebody comes in and bids on, there will be no exams as of
So the company that was doing the exams back up,
They did not bid on it.
we bid on.
We had 4 RFPs out. The only one we got a bid on was the locksmith exam. The other 3, your program, the private investigators program, and the contract security, we got no bid. And Prometric has agreed to give it through December 31st. We had a contract extension for them to do that. But after that, we didn't have anybody bid on it at all, so that contract's gonna expire. And we will not have an exam in place at that time.
What we've been asked to do is sit down and it was PSI, I'm not sure, sent those questions.
PSI sent several
Several
questions.
questions for us to answer, and again, we're back to the Proctor question. For a the individual taking in interview, in person there, do they have to have a facility? We're talking about going maybe to one of the universities, I just don't know where it stands right now. All I'm telling them is, we get applications in, and they have not taken the exam as of 12/31, there will be no exam in place. Now, that doesn't mean it won't be one in place in February.
Well,
Or months
yeah.
later, or whatever.
That's,
But there may be a home, kind of, delay.
gosh, you can't take it home while you can get it, because anybody can answer those questions.
Marketing, that's what ask your neighbor.
Well, you know, I mean, the industry, if you, I mean, I don't know, but if you don't know it, you go out there, somebody's gonna come in and imagine, what you doing?
Cody is the problem with requiring them to maintain some sort of facility, or is it just?
And having to write the test questions.
See, that the way that the old RFPs and the current RFP is worded, we are putting the test development on this company. They have to develop the exam with the subject matter experts, which we just went through with the revision. But Prometric, who held the contract, had to pay for that. But they also get all the revenue from the exam.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
Okay? And it's already a computer-based test, meaning you go and sit down at their facility and show your ID and you can take the test.
They were saying they have a way to protect the questions that they ask, or how they do it online testing. Either that, or they may even come back and say it's going to be instead of 90, is it $94?
It is now.
Pretty much it's 200 to either they come back and all. But I'll keep you abreast on what we know. We have to get it back email, but we're not going to be meeting again. We need to do
Yes. January the, there's some, look on, I think it's the 13th or the 16th. It's right on the table over there. But as it stands right now,
January.
we might could redo the
17th.
RFP and put it out for bid where we use the same criteria as far as what's required to be put on the exam, but have it where it could be offered online, where people could take it from their home or wherever.
We don't know if it's a possibility. Prometric has already developed the exam, whether we can purchase the exam.
Questions?
Purchase the question. We have the right to it. But that's all. We just had to have, I just found out this week and what the meeting today, the former this afternoon, the former the whole week, said that they kind of thing.
Yeah, we just got this email on Tuesday that said there were no bids. The deadline was like last week.
We're not the only program.
No. We did talk to the PI Commission about it. They had the very same concerns that you have about having a proctor. They felt it might impact some of their reciprocal agreements with other states.
Yeah.
To my knowledge, that you guys don't have any. Texas actually has their training and their exam is online through the state website. So it might be that that's the only state I know of that has that opportunity. Are y'all familiar with any? I mean, the other states surrounding us don't even have similar requirements except for maybe Arkansas.
I would not have a problem with the exam being online. It's just the validate or the verification of the person taking the exam is the only reason you really need a proctor.
Okay,
In my opinion.
we know.
That is the only reason.
We know about Texas, we just haven't had a chance to get with the executive director for the state of Texas. And let's
The,
see
the problem's not.
what problems they ran into, how did they solve them?
To me, the problem is not the exam being online. The problem is validating the identity of the person taking the exam.
And again, I've said this over and over the years, but if somebody, say they did get a license and they weren't qualified, I believe consumers, I believe we would hear about it somehow.
Well, but
The
that,
QA's not the one doing the work usually, it's just registered employees. So who's gonna?
Well, again, they already have to have the training, they have to have either that or a degree. There's no way they can do the background check online. We still have to have a physical background check on these people. And we verify that they've had the required experience. It just might be something we absolutely have to do just to move into the future.
well, if we could have some flexibility in the proctoring requirements, then that might meet their needs. Let them take the exam online. Maybe they come and sit in this room and Beth comes in proctor, I say
Well,
proctor.
we used to do that, but we didn't tell us what.
I understand, but see what I'm saying?
Yes.
That where someone could validate the identity of the person taking the exam.
So what was the deal? You said that used to happen, and they said something, and you stopped. They stopped her.
I used to have to proctor every polygraph examiner exam that was offered in
And
the
the
state
state
for like
is
5
not going
years.
into the proctor.
Well, then we would have to develop the exam. And, that's a whole nother, when you get into psychometric stuff
No, what I'm thinking is let somebody like Prometric
or PSI.
or PSI or somebody do the exam, give it online, and just have some means for validating the person, the identity of the person taking the exam. And they can take it in this room, or they can take it in their basement, as long as you've got somebody that's validating the
Heck, we got
identity.
Skype now, they can even look that up.
Well, they're not gonna have any idea who they're looking at.
You have to send, well, then we change the example, they send the photo in when they.
But you see what I'm saying? If we had some way of validating the identity of the person taking the exam, I don't care where they take it. I don't know whether it's PSI's headquarters or in the basement
Well, they
of
sent
the Crockett building.
several questions back regarding, would you consider this and would you consider that? And our response was pretty much what we've had in the discussions in the past, that it would have to be a proctored facility where their identification could be
Well, that's
verified.
the biggest drawback right there. That's what's holding up.
Well, why don't we inquire of the companies that would be interested in the exams, express our concerns, and see what they suggest, how our concerns can be addressed. Let's ask them how they would fix that problem.
Well, we're kind of prohibited talking to potential bidders. What we're gonna have to do is revise the RFP to include new language that basically gets away from the proctored exam and uses some other language about verification of the applicant.
Can't you have enough conversation with the potential people bidding this to ask how they would or how that's problem solved?
We can't, but Mr. Birdwell probably can, as long as we can put in writing kind of what y'all have.
Maybe you have to go through somebody else. Maybe you can't talk to them, but okay. Well, maybe that's the solution. Express our concerns through whoever.
Because that's right.
do that.
College students, if they're doing online, they're taking a test online.
Yeah.
Somehow,
How do you know?
yeah.
They're given a number or something.
I mean, but
I have no
we're not
idea.
in the testing business. We don't know the answers to those
Well, I mean,
problems.
I have friends that have gotten their whole college degree and very rarely set foot on campus anymore.
That's true.
How do they,
How they do that?
It's kinda-
I don't think you have to actually go to a physical
Wasn't
location
there-
anywhere.
But when they show up to get a job, they're gonna have to prove they know what they're doing.
No.
As a QA, doesn't really have to. He can get his license and
Well,
just
but the
submit
point
it to
is
the
that this is what's evolving. I don't see where we have a lot.
Let's see if we can get some answers to how they would feel like that problem that potential
And
problem
and
could
we
be.
probably, maybe next week I'll have some time to research and see what other states, and again, we've got so many states that don't even have alarm licensure. And we're way ahead of the rest.
We'll just have
so.
to email it to you, so we can get your opinion.
You had a question about some document you
I did, about retaking the exams. We have applicants that have let their license expire, like Mr. Fleming here, who expired July 31st, 2011. His first license was issued in '96. He was in the business all that time. I happen to know he's out teaching and doing stuff. He's a manufacturer's rep right now. But we've had other people apply and not had them retake the exam. But we really need some kind of a board policy or a board something that says how long, if their license is only been expired. The PI board has a rule or a policy one that says if it's been less than 2 years since your license expired, you won't have to retake the
24
exam.
months. 24
But
months.
after that, you're talking what, almost 15 years.
Since he took this exam,
Things had to change.
know, but I mean, for this person, I wouldn't be as concerned as I would about the next 4 people that want to do that. And we don't really have a good answer. I mean, what if they took the exam 10 years ago, it was based on entirely different books, but what if they've been in the business and their license has only been expired for, say, a year and a half?
They're kind of stayed in the industry, but still their license. I think you should have some type of efficiency exam and have to set how long. From the time the license expired.
The codes probably changed. There's a lot of things that change.
Randy, can we put that in the policy?
I took it, well,
I mean, I guess if he would have never allowed it to lapse,
I told him not to. He-
I mean-
There's other people that are in the same situation.
I guess you have to determine whether or not someone, for instance, who's had a license, been doing it for 10 or 15 years, needs to retake an exam when they've
Well, we
been.
can't treat one person different from the next
What difference does
person.
it make? His license is expired, and he has to do a new application. What's the requirements for a new application?
Well, the good thing with what it says in our requirements, it's not a mandatory, I mean, it's poorly written language in my opinion, but it says the applicant is entitled, shall be entitled to an examination, both oral or written. I feel like that can be interpreted to mean that gives the board some discretion from applicant to applicant. For instance, if someone has not had a license for 7 or 8 years, but had one previously, should they be able to take a license? I mean, take the examination. But if you guys want to set some standards, you could do that as well. I think it would be appropriate to do it by rule, but I don't know the board's feeling on the matter.
Well, then if somebody asked us, we could refer to the rule and it wouldn't be
We
treating
would get the
everybody in a
oversight
little
of y'all,
different.
it would just be set standards that would apply to everybody.
well, the rule is now, if you let your license expire, you've got to retake the test.
But what Beth is trying to say is that's not how we've interpreted
That's not
it.
what's
The board's allowed others to not who have previously passed the exam to not have to take it.
We
again.
actually have a lot of QAs that for some reason just can't remember to file their renewals and they have to come back
And I have a different viewpoint, like I said, if you're expired, you're expired.
Or you can just,
But
or the board,
let's
or
say
the board
if
can
you
just say, if you're a new applicant, regardless if you've had a license for 20 years,
you gotta have to take the
Just take the
exam.
exam.
Of course, now that we're
and it's,
facing.
and it's a moot issue
Didn't you
anyway.
have
Not
like a
having
year?
it.
You got a letter, and didn't you have like
A year to renew
get it
before
done?
you,
Yeah, we don't do that.
Without-
Don't
Don't do
hold your
that. We
application
did
open
it.
for a year.
We
That's
did away
gone,
with
so
that.
now they only got 3 months.
That's still a pretty good time if it's your career.
You know, and some of these larger companies, and just for example, we've got a central station in Texas, and somehow their renewal paperwork got all crossed up and their QAs had to reapply. Well, you know, he probably took the monitoring exam, let's say, 6 years ago. It's 50-question test, and monitoring. Do we make him retake it? He was expired for probably 3 months. We just need some kind of time frame. Or say everybody that reapplies has to retake the test. regardless.
And I think Andrew's right. If we want to do anything other than say when it's expired, you gotta do the whole thing, including taking the test, then we need to make it a rule. And I agree with Andrew. I wouldn't have a problem, giving them up to a year, to where they did not have to retake the exam. They would have to make new applications and all that.
what about their CEUs, the other things that you do?
Again, if they have to reapply, they didn't have to submit the CEUs. And again, if they've held a license, they've had to maintain the CEUs to keep it.
Right.
The only question would
I
be
just think a
if
year
they,
is a little bit long. I mean, if
well,
you're-
they'd still have to make new applications. They got 3 months where they could apply late.
why don't you just make that equal to the same thing instead
Well,
of
that's what Cody said. When they've expired,
Need a
they've
rule to
expired.
go by the law. That's right.
But on the other hand, we don't give a time limit, Okay, if a person makes a new exam, takes a new, all right, person, let me ask this, person makes a new application. If they pass the exam, we don't give them a time limit. that they have to pass the exam within 6 months or within a year? Or
Well, actually, we do. We know that everything that they send in, every send a notification that they take the exam. And that a lot of them will say, what, 60 days?
Respond within 30 days.
They have to respond and show diligent effort. They may have failed it. Or I got sick, my mother got sick and passed away, I couldn't go. But then, yeah, we're extending it.
But do they have to have passed the exam within 60 days of the application? Is what you're
No.
saying?
No.
What
They
if,
should have.
what if they passed the exam within a year of making a new application?
Even before they made the application.
Yeah.
Do we accept an application? Or do we accept an exam
About
score
40.
before we get an application?
I'm asking.
Well, again, we have people that take it before they apply. We have other people that wait for us to send them a notice that they've been approved and are entitled to take it
Before they take the exam.
before they ever schedule it because they're waiting to hear from us. So, I mean, we really,
Well, the exam should be a prerequisite to issuance. I mean, it's clear in our law.
Oh, yeah, there's no question.
I mean, we
about
shouldn't
that.
be issuing licenses prior to.
we wouldn't.
Yeah, I'm just saying, so.
But if they make application, if they've already taken and passed the exam, and then they make an application, then we're gonna say, okay, you passed the exam, or you meet the other requirements, you pay the fees, we give you the license, right? Okay, so if they've taken, but there's nothing that says they have to have taken that exam within 3 months, or 6
no,
months,
no.
or 5 years. But,
That just doesn't happen. It has to be fixed and that's
I understand. So, making an application, making a new application because your license is expired, and they've passed the exam one time. So we're not questioning that they passed the exam, we're questioning when they passed the exam. And we've got some latitude. Of course, we've got some latitude on the type of exam too. We can come and ask them 50 questions. That if they give satisfactory answers, we can grant them an exam. That's an oral exam. We've got that latitude. I don't know if the board's ever done that. But, I mean, we've got that latitude. We really just talking about it. We don't have a conclusion. Unless we wanted to move towards, and it should, I think Andrew's right, it should be in a rule if we decide to make a rule of some sort.
Well, we got plenty of time, we can table it to January, everybody can think about it. The last thing we need to do now is try to insert another rule, and the rule is already written.
I think at this point, the board has in the past accepted previous past exams for people that are coming back and get it reapplying. I think be consistent with that for right now until the board concludes on the matter.
You just said something. So I let my license expire, okay? Well, I previously took the exam to get them. Are you gonna take my previous scores?
That's what we're talking
Exactly
about.
what we're talking about.
We're saying you're making a new application. Well, under the new application statute, I mean, when you make an application, it's requiring an examination. So this is a whole new application. This isn't the one you made previously.
So you need new tests.
That's what we're.
Well,
Yeah,
that's
you'd have
not,
to have another test.
that's not what it says.
Well, that's what we're trying to say. The language.
That's
is
what we're
vague.
discussing.
I
Again,
understand.
if
but-
somebody comes back and say they applied years ago and were issued a license in CCTV before we had a CCTV exam, if we don't have a CCTV exam score in their file, they have to take
They
it.
gotta take the exam. But if they had taken
But
the
if they
exam.
had
previously-
taken it, or since they already had
Hey.
taken the burglar and fire exam,
What time out? We go back to our last hearing where the time we were here in September, the guy said, well, I thought my CCTV and everything would come over. She said, no, you only paid for Bird. He didn't have the money, hold on. But he had CCTV before, meaning he can reclassify and get it by what Andrew just said.
he
No,
never
he
got
didn't
it.
have it. That was because
didn't
his
have it.
QA had.
Somebody else
Another
had it
another
on their
individual,
license,
he
not
held
him.
that license, he didn't hold it. He didn't hold it, the previous QA held it, so
Yeah.
He
he
had
couldn't
hired a
transfer
QA
that.
for his
and
company.
that guy still had it. But
So
That's how he lost it, when that man.
what
went
I just
there.
understood from Andrew, so we can, if I took a test 5 years ago, and the test score is in my file, he's really saying, see, I'm thinking that test is not good if I let my license expire. I got to retest. Because I did retest I got a QA. My license expired somewhere. It wasn't for a long period of time. And then I came back and took another test.
Did we tell you you had to, or
Yeah.
did you just go schedule?
You know what? I don't even know if you told me I had to. But
I don't
that
know.
happened. It was years ago.
I
But it did
think,
happen.
I think the best thing to do is if the staff has some sort of question about whether the person needs to retake the exam. This is not something that happens every day.
It's happening more lately.
Yeah, it does.
I want to get back into business.
That's because they see the
But no, they got a job offer.
CCTV.
Like this guy's been offered a different job, and he's
That was-
like,
that was the
what
case.
do I do?
Company offers you a job in Alabama. You're saying, well, I'm moving to Alabama. I may not need to renew.
Okay, so what I'm hearing now is, if you're taking the exam, what we have set the precedent of, and if you've got taken the exam, one down, your exams. That's what we've done in the past, that's what we're working with.
Let's look at all the other different licensing professionals in the U.S. Your license is fine. You have to
Gotta go get another.
retest. You don't get away because you forgot for 30 days or 100 days or whatever. You go back and you retest.
Well,
Would you have to take the bar exam again if you somehow left the state and came back?
serious?
With practicing law in
Oh,
1960
probably.
being different than it is today.
Yes.
Probably.
Medical professional,
If you go to college, you take a course
Exactly.
and you get a
The
degree.
industry and
You've
everything's
always
changed.
got that
You've
degree.
always got the degree. I mean,
We talking about a
everything,
degree, not a
And I know
license.
a lot of other licenses, if you've got like a dental hygienist license or a nurse's license in Kentucky, you can come down here and you don't have to do anything except for show them your license and that get a letter of good standing, and it's, like a license recognition, so.
Yeah, but they're being licensed for the first time in Tennessee, though, aren't they? If they come from Kentucky to practice in Tennessee.
Yeah.
Okay. That's apples and oranges. You're saying somebody had a
Well, I
license
just-
and let it expire. I don't know if they let their Tennessee license expire for dental hygienists, would they be accepted the next time?
I don't look at it the same as the college degree. You've always got that.
That's education as opposed to aptitude.
That's like having a mom and daddy. You always got them, no matter what.
And we've only got like an hour.
Okay.
Let's go.
We can table it, we'll discuss it again if we see it.
Okay. Is there anything else the board needs to discuss before we adjourn? Anything else? This meeting is adjourned.
Stop.
Yes,
And Steve's gonna go ahead and present.